This is my review of last night's MNBRT radio program. It was actually pretty great. The guests were Stephen Stroyfert and Robert and Ian Leiterman. and whoa, excuse me. And the majority of the time was spent talking about their joint project, the joint Bluff Creek Film Site project. They're looking for the actual Patterson-Gimlin film site. They're not finished yet, by the way. They've come out with 30 videos on the BFRO Videos channel right here on YouTube, but they have not completed the process just yet. There is some disagreement still between the three as far as to where the actual film site is. There's some who say that the one that M.K. Davis found is the actual film site. Some say it's the Cliff Barrickman. Some say it's the Peter Burns site. Some say it's the Daniel Perez or Chris Murphy site. There's not really a general consensus among the three, but they talked quite a bit about their journeys into that area to find the actual film site of the Patterson-Gimlin film. Abe and Evie asked them quite a bit about that, and they talked quite a bit about their individual research. Ranger Robert Leiterman, he's never had a sighting. Steven's never had a sighting. I don't think Ian has had a sighting either. So they never actually had Sasquatch sightings. Although they've had interesting things happen in their vicinity. Stephen has had some interesting occurrences around his home, which is in the Willow Creek area. I think he lives way back in the woods, actually. But excuse me. Anyway, and they talked quite a bit when I called in. I asked them if they had found an area which they would consider pretty much the general consensus area, and they said that they hadn't. And of course, some of the landmarks they're really looking for are things like the big tree, some of the trees that are in the background on the film, on the actual film itself. There's these they're using those as landmarks, and they were attempting to find the actual trees. Or what was left of the actual trees in the area, in that entire general consensus area. And I asked them, I said, what was actually the closest as far as the areas that you investigated looking for the film site? And they said actually the M.K. Davis site was actually closer to what they thought might be the actual site. They brought up that Bob Gimlin had gone there in 2003 along with several others, Sasquatchers, and also the Mysterious Encounters crew. And Bob Gimlin could not recognize anything about the place. He couldn't tell what was where. And also, Gimlin had also told Bobo, James Fay, the general area, just about the general area. And Bobo passed that on to Cliff Barrickman. Cliff Barrickman thinks that there's a general consensus of where the film site is also. And Stephen and Robert and Ian actually investigated all those areas. All the different areas that are claimed to be the actual film site, the actual Patterson-Gimlin film site. And really, they're still working on it. They're going to go in there this spring. They're hoping to go back in there this spring and maybe do a little bit more reconnaissance work, a little bit more research. But they did quite a bit of work this past fall out in that area. And found some interesting things as far as they did their own investigations, and they looked around. They couldn't really come up with a general consensus. There's still disagreements between them as to where the actual film site is. Anyway, I thought it was a terrific show. It was a really great show, and Abe and Evie always do a good job. Next Monday, they're going to welcome the Finding Bigfoot Facebook people to the show. I'll begin at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, www.blogtalkradio.com/MNBRT. Now, tonight on Bigfoot Truth and Lies, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, www.blogtalkradio.com/Bigfoot Truth and Lies, Froggy, Luke, and myself have a topic. Froggy's picked out a topic, and we don't know what the topic is yet. I'm sure we'll find out more about that tonight, but that'll be tonight, as I mentioned, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Should be an interesting show. And then this Sunday will be Night Callers at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, www.blogtalkradio.com/nightcallers. They don't have a guest scheduled as of yet. They might get one before the week is out, but I don't know if they're going to or not. But should be some interesting Sasquatch programming on Blog Talk Radio. That's coming up. And as always, we do encourage you to please tune in and support great research.